So we had a trespasser on the property here yesterday. And I tell you, it really does aggravate me how people just will not respect you or your privacy. So I'm going to try to give you some of the backstory and why we do what we do, how we would appreciate some, privacy. Just leave us alone. As you know, I'm kind of a recluse. I'm not a big people person. I'm pretty happy without people in my life. Carolyn and I get along exceptionally well. I mean, better than I've gotten along with probably anybody else in my life. And so I'm quite happy with her company, and I just don't need people around. I don't need friends to come and help me with anything. I built a tiny house completely by myself. Well, that's not true. Carolyn helped me lift one wall, and she helped me put the shower together. Other than that, I built it completely by myself, and then she wanted to put the pallet wood on the interior walls. She wanted to decorate it, basically. So, I mean, I could have done that myself. It wasn't a big deal, but she wanted to do it. That's fine. But I just don't need a lot of help. I always try to figure out how to do things on my own. I've had a pretty good success with that all my life. I've never relied on people. At least I try not to. I mean, occasionally I will go over to Mom's house, and I parked in her yard for a while. But, I paid my rent and did what I could to chip in. And then down at Dad's, I stayed at his place for a while when we were nomads. But I helped him put a roof on, kind of for my rent. But other than that, I don't really try to rely on people. I always try to pay my way through. And then Carolyn has social anxiety. Now, that's just a mental disorder. I think there's things in the environment that causes it. Specifically, I'm not a doctor or scientist or anything, but I've done a lot of research on this. And I think dioxin was a chemical they used to kill bed bugs, I think. And it was in that Agent Orange that they used in Vietnam. And so that's a hereditary thing. So if your dad or grandparents were in Vietnam and he has children or grandchildren, that Agent Orange can actually be passed down to those children. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Here in Missouri, we had a mega disaster site or something just south of St. Louis, in between St. Louis and Six Flags, Times Beach. And all my childhood, that's all I ever heard about was Time Beach. And some guy poured dioxin on the roads. He thought he was using oil, and it turned out to be dioxin. So, I've learned a lot about it. So I always had this theory that anxiety and so a lot of depressions are as a result of dioxin that we've been using. But that's neither here nor there. Carolyn has social anxiety. That being said, she has gotten a lot better over the last 2 years. And since we started eating a carnivorous diet, I haven't seen symptoms of her anxiety at all. We went grocery shopping the other day, and she even said, "Boy, I'm feeling a little anxious." So now, before she even gets engaged with anxiety, not anxiety, but it's more like a panic attack now, which is more manageable. With anxiety, it lasts for weeks. Once it's triggered, it just won't go away. She's very happy living here with me. So we spent a long time trying to find our happiness. We thought nomadic lifestyle would do it, but it didn't. It was actually pretty social. Everybody thought they had a right to come and talk to you. I remember one time we were at Grand Canyon. Well, it wasn't Grand Canyon, it was, I forget what it was called, but it was right by the Grand Canyon, off a huge cliff. It was beautiful. Some guy just walked right up to the back of the camper, started talking to us. We were in the camper, and he started talking to us. He just wouldn't go away. He just would not get the hint. It was actually more anxious for Carolyn to be out there than going to work every day, because at least then she knew the people. Not that she got along with them or anything, or they made her feel good. Over time, we've really gotten her anxiety under control. Well, Carolyn likes to do laundry by hand. I have offered her a million times, do you want a wash machine? No, no, no. We could run one. And you can get little ones too. You can get little bitty ones. We used to have an apartment-sized one. My last wife and I had an apartment-sized one, and we could run that off the generator real easy. So I even asked her, you want that? No, I don't want that. So it's up to her. She can have whatever she wants. She just doesn't want it. Anytime she gets overloaded, too much laundry, raining too long, or it's been too cold, or she just wasn't feeling good or whatever, and she has a big pile of laundry, I always ask her, you want to go to the laundromat? One time I actually started packing it up, putting it in the truck. She said, what are you doing? I said, well, I thought we'd do the laundry at the laundromat, just give you a break. No. So it's not that I'm forcing her to do it this way, it's what she wants to do. I know there are a lot of people who just do not believe that's what she wants. But just like I want a simplistic life, so does she. And we split up our chores, and everybody will call me sexist, I'm sure. But we do. We have our set of chores she likes to do, and I have my chores that I like to do. I don't know if any of us like to do our chores, but it's just the chores that we've got. So I take care of the chickens, and she takes care of the laundry and the cooking, and I take care of the firewood. I take care of the fires. Heck, I make the coffee. Anytime we're out of coffee, I make the coffee. So we just have our chores, and that's the way we like it. And so we buy this place. And yeah, I know it's, a lot of people seem to think that there's a big crowd of people around us all the time, but there's not. We got a neighbor, I don't even know his name. There used to be a guy over here, and he came over a couple times. He didn't have electric and wondered if we could get him some coffee. And then this guy up here, he's only talked to us a couple times, and that's when we were tearing down the trailer. There was a mobile home up here. By the new law, code ordinance, the trailer was too close to his property. And he asked us to move it, and we didn't have to. We just cut the trailer off and built a tiny house on the trailer. He's quite happy. Haven't talked to him since. Well, that's not true. Actually, I went up to his place once and asked him if he wanted that old Franklin wood stove that we had down here as an outdoor heat exchanger for the camper when we were staying in the camper. And I gave that to him, but other than that, we have not talked to him. Now, before I put up the no trespassing sign, we had a regular flow of people here all the time. And then I put that up, really haven't had a problem since. Now with the no trespassing sign, that doesn't mean they can't trespass. They can trespass. The only real reliable way of keeping people off your property by law is to put up a gate so they can't come on the property at all. Or the purple paint, you can purple paint around your trees, and that's supposed to keep people off your property just like a gate. So I don't know why a no trespassing sign doesn't keep people off your property, but I guess it doesn't. But it has helped out immensely. One time somebody came over and asked me if we'd seen their dog, and I said, stay there, stay there. They were up by the truck. I didn't want to come on the property because somebody gets hurt here. I don't have insurance. I don't want people on the property. So as long as I don't give any implied permission to be on the property, if they get hurt here, that's on them, because I do have a no trespassing sign, and that puts the liability on them, not me. But I got to make sure they understand I don't want them here. Last year, this woman, old lady, she walks up and down the hill for some reason. She lives way down there. I guess she stays in shape, and she walks up the hill, but she loves to talk to everybody. Well, she came onto the porch one day. We were in the house. She knocked on the door. She says, I need to talk to your wife. I said, you're trespassing. She says, I want to talk to your wife about her doing laundry. She says, I got a wash machine I want to give her or sell her or whatever. I said, you're trespassing. Now remember, I already know what Carolyn wants. One, she doesn't want to talk to people. She has anxiety. And two, she wants to do laundry by hand. If she wants a wash machine, I will get it for her. I don't need the neighbors to give it to me. And she just would not leave. I want to talk to your wife. And I said, you're trespassing. You have to leave now. And I shut the door. If she gets hurt at that point, see, she can walk onto the porch. If she gets hurt by walking onto the porch, that's on me, even though I got a no trespassing sign. But once I said you're trespassing, all of the liability is now on her. There's no implied intent that she can be there. So I haven't seen her since. Well, the other day she was walking up and down and she was yelling at Carolyn on from the road, and I don't know what she was saying, just yapping. That's what's so frustrating, is there's a lot of social people in the world who seem to think that everybody is required to be social because they want to be social. They don't seem to understand there are people who just want to be left alone. They don't understand it, which has always been confusing to me. I understand that you want to be social. I don't tell you, no, you can't be social. But if I tell you I don't want to be social, oh, you have to be social. That's normal. It's normal to be social. Well, no, it's not. About half the country is actually not social. They force themselves to go out. They force themselves to be social because that's what social people keep saying. But there's a lot of studies that say they're just as happy being by themselves. There's no requirement for people to be out there socializing. Yesterday, I walk outside and I hear somebody talking. Now, Carolyn's down in the garden. Now, the woman, this is incredible to me. The woman would not have been able to see Carolyn walking in the garden because there's the road and you can't see the garden through all the trees. So Carolyn's down here working in the garden, but this woman somehow knows that Carolyn is in the garden. So she literally trespasses on the neighbor's yard to avoid me. She comes around the neighbor's yard and into the garden area. Well, I know Carolyn is going to be stressed. And so it's kind of, I take it on as my responsibility to interrupt conversations that people are trying to have with Carolyn. Instead of me being verbal with her and her acting like I'm being mean, I grabbed the no trespassing sign. It's on a stick. I got it wedged in some rocks. I just pick the whole stick up and I bring it down here and I show it to her. And she says, "Sir, I don't have any problems with you, but you," and I interrupted and said, "You're trespassing." "I know, but I wanted to talk to your wife." I said, "You're trespassing. I need you to leave." She just refused to leave. Then I said, "I don't have insurance. And if you get hurt, I don't have the money to take care of you. So I need you to leave." "Well, I just want to talk to your wife." "No." She says, "Well, can I at least say bye?" And I said, "No, you cannot." Then she continued to talk to Carolyn. I said, "I'm calling the police." And at that point, Carolyn stood up and said, "Let me walk you off the property." And the woman walked off the property with Carolyn. And so I was unable to get this woman to leave. I felt terrible for Carolyn that she had to take this action to get her off the property. I think it's ridiculous. So if you can check out that super thanks button down there at the bottom, I really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to find your alone time so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.